Now what I use is, it's Gamblin, it's called Gamvar, and it's a varnish that you can use. You can find it, I think actually Hobby Lobby has it now. And it used to have to mix this and something else together, and they've combined it all together now, and it works great. So what I do is I pour some in just a wide mouth jar, and let me get that poured in here a little bit. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. And you really want to do this with gloves. Should have done it with gloves, but so I just get it. This is just a cheap old brush. I use like something maybe a lot of times from Home Depot, and just a chip brush is what they call them. But this is one I think from Hobby Lobby. But you don't want to use it for anything else probably after that, because there's kind of a residue that still hangs around, and even if you kind of clean it, but it'll come out eventually if you want. But see how some of these areas are really dull, the dark areas. That's just due to the qualities of the paint that you use sometimes. And some of them sink into the canvas and they won't stay vibrant. Look what happens.
Is it an oil base or is it a water?
It is for oil paint, yes. Look at that.
Oh,
That just
yeah.
comes alive.
Wow.
Now, with
Is it
this,
glass or
I'm sorry?
matte finish or glass?
This is a gloss finish. They do come in matte and in a satin, but I just kind of scrub it in. Now you want to make sure this painting's dry before you do this. It doesn't have to be 100% like thoroughly dry. Like some people used to, the old rule of thumb was like wait 6 months to a year before you varnish a painting, depending on how thick the paint was.
Wow.
But this, I'm just kind of lightly scrubbing it in to the canvas and making sure it gets all in the little nooks and crannies. Like if you have thick paint anywhere, you want to make sure you get it all around those edges.
What do you prefer? Is glossy or matte or satin?
This is gloss.
But what do you prefer?
I usually use the gloss.
Gloss?
Yeah, this is some that I had, so this is what I usually use. You can, if you want a matte finish, you can add extra. It's called cold wax. You can put like some of this in here and put some. It's hard. It's like wax, and I mean, it's not hard, but it's coagulated. And you can put some in there and really shake it up and let it emulsify over 24 hours or so, and it will give a matte finish to it.
Can that product also be used to varnish acrylic paintings?
That I don't know. Probably, since oil products can go over acrylic. I'll have to ask Gamvar about that. But you can also, Gamvar has a quality to this Gamvar here that you can go back and paint into that. It doesn't have, and you can actually remove it too. So if you wanted to, after this is all dry, you can go back in with some Gamsol and remove the paint.
You're removing the varnish or the paint?
I'm sorry, the varnish, not the paint. No, you can actually go in and remove the varnish if you need to, but you can actually paint on top of it. It just kind of seals it. It doesn't give it a complete, it still lets it breathe, and it still lets it dry after it's on there, which is nice because you can, varnish these things before you send them out within a reasonable amount of time. And I'll scrub it in like that into all the places, but then I go back with an up and down, like if it's a vertical painting, portrait composition here, I go up and down like this because I don't want to do like this, because sometimes if you have it too thick or what, light catches, whenever you put, and it's going to be something that pops out. So if you have light on it, it's coming from above more than likely. And so I finish up with a stroke that goes back and forth like this. And you can go back and put more on it later. And there's for some reason, I don't know what it is, but there's some paints, I think it's probably due to any kind of medium, or not any, but some kind of medium that you might use in it, it will resist this. And I talked to Gamvar a few months ago about that, and they said just keep scrubbing it in. I mean, not to the point of where you're removing paint, but just if there's an area where it resists it, then just go back over it and just keep doing that. So that's how I varnish it. And then too, like, you know, I painted this on one of those linen pads, and I took it off, and I mounted it. I just used glue and put it on this gator board. It's not foam core, but it's gator board. It's really thick. I mean, it's dense. It's thinner, but it's more durable. And so then I just glued that on there and used a brayer to go back and forth on it to make sure no bubbles were in there. And then I did that last night. And so it was ready to be able to do that. I could have done this on the pad, but I would prefer it to be on a sturdy substrate surface before I put the varnish on it.